Welcome everyone, Neo here, and welcome to Dwarf Fortress. Now this game is an extremely hard game to learn. For the first long time I've been playing this many hours, and I usually have a wiki open, but I'm going to try without it. I think I have a general idea of what everything is by now. And to give you an idea about this game, it is, while I'm doing this, I'm going to start creating a new world because this takes a while. I don't want to create a new world. I'm going to make a large world. You know what? I'll make it medium just so I don't have to wait a long time. Do a short history. Don't need a ton of civilizations. We'll leave that on medium. I like to have a high number of sites. It gives you more variety in the terrain, more options of where to start. And I like to put a little higher savagery just to make it a little difficult. And leave that. Alright. So I'm going to start that. And what you see here, this is actually a graphics pack. So this is the world map as it's creating the world. And if you think these graphics are bad, remember that the basic game is in ASCII symbols. So pretty much think like Wingdings but with 8-bit colors, and that's the basic texture pack. So this is an advanced one. But don't let this fool you. This is a very difficult game. And to give you an idea, I actually have up, there's a comic of the learning curve of Dwarf Fortress, which right here gives you an idea of how old the game is, because it references Halo, StarCraft, World of Warcraft. That's when all those pretty much were coming out. And you see you got Halo here, you got StarCraft, you got WoW. Okay. And then Dwarf Fortress. It goes up, comes back on itself, and then levels out way up there. And you got some stickmen hanging, someone fell off the cliff, another one fell into spikes. Got some nice sticks on crosses. And here he's bulldozing all the dead who didn't quite make it. The Dwarf Fortress wiki is very extensive. I will show you that later, but it looks like it's done building already. And then I'm going to press enter to accept. You can look around the world right now, but I'm just going to press enter to accept it. And if you do want to play this game, you do want to try it out, there's the Lazy Noob Pack, which you'll want to download. It'll have the game, it'll have different graphics options. I'm using Phobius, but you can do other ones. There's the default. And the current version that I'm playing on is 3.1.25 VC. Let's see, utilities. There's a lot of different utilities that you can use to help you. The only one I really use is Dwarf Therapist, which I will start up once I actually start playing. You can adjust the sound, which you guys can't hear right now because of the recording software I'm using. I'm working on that. Different options. You generally want all these on. Liquid depth is off by default, but I like to have it on. It makes it a lot easier. It lets me know if my dwarves are going to drown in that water or not. Key bindings, I use the Lazy Noob one just because it does change a few key bindings, and you could change them in the game, but it's just easier to have it do that. So, continue playing is going to show you all my current saves. But I'm going to start playing on this new world I just created. Dwarf Fortress, okay. And every time you go into something, oh, okay. You'll feel that little pause. It may say not responding in the top left corner. Don't worry, it is. Now, there's different things here. That's Badlands. There's trees. There's like plains and hills over here. Some grassland. There's a little desert, mountains. Just to give you an idea, there's a little human settlement probably right there. Here's the ocean. As you can see, it's a temperate ocean. Now, world map I'm looking at. This is ice. This is all frozen area, tundra, glacier. You can settle there. I'm choosing not to. Instead, I'm going to go farther north. I like a warmer temperature because the rivers and stuff don't freeze as often, which you need fresh water if anyone becomes injured. Whoa, this is This has a lot of city. That's all like cities that are preoccupied. And yeah, that's a huge cluster of city. It usually starts you right near your capital. Well, what am I looking for? What am I looking for? I'm looking for Fluxstone at least. I want to be right on the edge of a mountain. You can't settle inside the mountain. You need at least one square that's not mountain. Like here's some rocky wasteland. Here's some trees that you could use. Shallow metal is useful, is very useful. I'm actually liking this area right here. I'm going to use U, K, H, K, and N, M to move the local area now. Now what I want is, this is just personal preference. You know what, I'm going to look around just a little bit more to make sure this is exactly, ooh, but this doesn't have the shallow metals anymore, you see. That's the trick. While I'm talking, I'm going to look around a little more. Well, on shallow metal, deep metals is nice. Flux stone, those, I want at least a metal and a flux stone. That's a requirement for when I start. If I can get shallow metals, plural, that would be fantastic. If I can't, I can't. I'm going to look just a little bit more. I'm going to hold shift and just go down here real quick. Alright, metals. There's plural. There's more than one shallow metal here. Problem is, it's already preoccupied by a city. That's going to be a problem. You don't want to be right next to one because that can cause some tension. And you don't want to piss people off. This game is hard enough without pissing people off. If that's already settled, I'm not going to be able to settle that. I'm looking on the map and I see in this top right corner is another huge mountain area. So I'm going to give it a little look real quick. And if I don't see shallow metal, there's singular. And there's going to be mountains, not just where it shows on the, like right here there's a nice little mountain, but it shows the forest right there. There's going to be mountains all over the place. You have to explore for them. I'm going to go over here. There's a shallow metal. There are deep metals, plural, which is useful. And this area right next to it is heavily forested. Now, I'm moving to local. Now, you can think of this game like it's a strategy building game with a lot of military and management. It's a very difficult game to get used to. I'm going to make my area a little larger. I like a little larger area. And this is a brook. Now, this stream has the name of the stream, has where I am, all that junk. And I'm allowed to embark here because I have at least one square that's not mountain. I have two forests, which are heavily forested, which is going to make this a lot easier. I'm hoping that shallow metal is iron, is some kind of iron ore. It may not be. It could be bronze. It could be iron. If it's iron, I'm in trouble. Because the iron ore also gives you, well, it does give you silver. So I'll be able to make silver weapons, but they're not that great. But anyway, I'm going to stop wasting time. It always gives you a little message here when you press E to embark. Yeah, I selected a large area. Now, I could choose one of these, but I'm going to prepare it myself, just to give you an idea. I'm going to quick look at the people, and what I'm looking at is this. I assume it's green. I'm red green colorblind, so sorry. And then I guess this is red. But that section right there is what I'm looking at. And I want someone with good analytical ability. Okay. Good intuition, ability to read emotions, and a good memory. He's actually pretty promising. Let's see if he likes to help others. Constantly active. enjoys the company of others, doesn't have a great aesthetics, finds helping others rewarding, yes. Okay, this guy is going to be a great leader because leaders have to make people happy. So I'm going to press right and then look at his skills over here. Now, there's 18 of these and there's many pages. Let me just give you an idea. I'll scroll down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's about 10 pages plus this one that's hanging off the end. So that's like 180 different skills. Now some of them are social, some are military, some are actually work. And I'm going to set up what they start with, but what they do during the game will give them different skills and different attributes. But this guy, I'm going to make a consoler, a pacifier, and a conversationalist. And I actually started with very few points, which is the point cost. And I know why that is. I'll get into that. Usually you start with a lot more, but I'm going to press V to look at them again. Poor memory. Okay, that's not horrible. I'm also looking for a creativity. Alright, there's a creativity. That's Iton. Okay. There's another good creativity with bad analytical. Very bad analytical, poor memory. I'm gonna go with this guy as my trader. Now, trader, you want at least appraiser because that's gonna tell you how much things are worth. I like to put it on competent and judge of intent because that'll tell you how willing the person you're trading with is to trade. I'm also gonna give him persuader because that helps trading a bit. And then the last thing, alright, so this person is going to become my crafter because they have really good creativity. Flimsy, okay. So now I'm looking up here, rarely sick and slow heal. What I don't want is people who are quick to tie or anything like that. And I'm looking for my miners. Because I'm starting in a mountain area, I'm going to need to skill up miners really quickly because it takes a while to mine through rock. So, strong and agile, quick to heal and tough. So I'm going to take this strong and agile guy and then the tough one. And I'm going to go all the way to the top of it and I'm going to give him... Oh, I ran out of points. Okay. Now, the reason it's starting with no points, I'm going to press tab. It gave me a steel anvil. Usually it gives you iron. So this I'm actually going to get rid of. And because it gave me a steel one, I know I can't start with an iron one, unfortunately. So I'm going to go back, make them proficient mine, which is level 5. Legendary is 15, and then it goes up to 15 plus 5. It's not a huge difference, but once you get to legendary, that's pretty much where you're going to be. So now that I got rid of the anvil, I have a huge number of points. I could get more skills, but those are the important ones for me to start with. So I'm going to press tab to go back to the items. Now I'm going to start with several female dogs and then one male dog. And what that's going to do for me is the male dog is going to impregnate all the females and I'll have a bunch of puppies, which I'll eventually train war dogs. I can use them as pets to make people happy, and I can slaughter them. This game is about survival, people. Yes, you can kill dogs and eat them. You'll eat virtually everything. You'll eat kidneys, you'll eat brain, you'll eat liver. They'll prepare just about everything at the butcher. The other thing I'm going to need is a lot of liquor. I have 40 wine and 20 beer, but I want to bring some more. So I'm going to press N, and I'm going to look up rum. I'm going to start Dwarven rum, and I'm going to add some of that. Let's do 20 of that. And then, let's see, rum, wine, beer. I'm missing something. So I'm going to go down to drinks, Dwarven ale. And I'm going to bring 20 of that, and that should bring my points down to 0. Perfect. So I'm ready to embark now. I'm going to embark. Let's see how long this video has been going. Wow, it actually doesn't say. Okay. It says not responding. Again, don't worry if this happens to you. It is responding. And while this is loading, I'm going to do this. Go to Utilities, Start up Dwarf Therapist. Alright. And you can read this if you want. It's the same stuff except a couple proper nouns right here. I'm going to press Escape to get into the game, and space to pause it. Now, this is how it'll usually start. There's a little mini map here. I can go up and down Z levels. Remember, X, Y, Z would be up and down. So I'm going to look around. Alright, this is a sand area. That's actually metal. I'm hoping that is magnetite. Let's see. Magnetite. Nice. Oops. As far as I can tell, as far as I remember, magnetite is a metal of iron. And this is fluxstone. These different pictures are because of the texture pack I have. That's inside a lake. Here's the lake, and here's all the trees and shrubs that I can plant gather from are up on this hill. That's actually pretty convenient that they're all up on the hill and not down. That's bamboo. It doesn't make a huge difference except that pandas may come in. Here's my brook. It's the swirly thing showing you that it's safe to cross. If I look down, I'll see how deep it is. Now in the winter, this might still freeze even though I'm in a relatively warm climate. But I don't need to go right near it. I just need to know that I have fresh water available if I need it. So actually, I like to live underneath a relatively flat area. This is looking pretty promising. This may be where I live under. And I'm going to look up a few levels just to see what's going on. Wow, this actually goes up quite a bit. This is a very steep incline. All the way to the top. Oh, there's a nice little peak right there. But I'm going to go back down. Here's my wagon, dwarves, all the animals I start with. You start with a couple animals that kind of just pull the wagon. They're usually either like yaks or sometimes horses, something like that. So magnetite is not only a source of iron, but it spawns in huge clusters. So this is a very promising cluster right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start digging. Now I'll probably dig right into this side right here. Yeah, that looks really good. And then I'm going to make a few turns as I'm going down. The few turns will be for defensive purposes. You'll see that in the future, but first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this map because I don't need it. So tab. Alright. I'm going to go up here. D to designate. It starts on chop down tree. I'm going to press enter in that corner. Hold shift so it moves faster. Follow the little X. Enter. Now all the trees are blacked out. That means that they're designated for cutting. And that is going to give my woodcutter a good deal of work. Don't need to gather plants yet, but I'm sure I will in the future because I always run low on food and rum before the first caravan. It's probably my fault, but there we go. So D to designate and then D mine. And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to make it 3 wide. And 3 wide, like that. And I'll do H to channel. You could do stairs, but I'm doing channeling because it'll create ramps down. And that's important. You'll see why once it comes into the fall. But that's important for the design. And I have these curves in it, so when archers attack me, if they get into here, I can put like my military or guard dogs over here, so when they cross the corner, they don't get free shots while they're running in. All right, I'm gonna skip forward a bit here and designate my area, and then show you what I did and why I did it, and then I'll quickly show you Dwarf Therapist, and we will start. Alright guys, welcome back. I'm pretty sure I put you in just about the same spot that I left off to not disorient you. Here's my entrance. It's going to go down ramp to here, down ramp again to here, down ramp, and then I'm going to start my actual building. And this is all designated to be mined out. You notice that here's where it starts, and I cut off and left just this area, and it's not connected yet. The reason for that, I want this mined out first, and then I'll move on. This area is going to be my food storage, and stuff like a still to make beer, a kitchen, stuff like that will go right here. Over here, I'm going to have my finished goods, my crafts that I sell. Here's going to be masonry, craft dwarf workshops, that stuff, mechanic. I'm going to have furniture over here, which after that, I'm going to open this up. They're going to come this way. They're going to carve out a little piece of the furniture storage. Eventually, I will finish the whole thing, but again, this is for efficiency in the beginning. Then I'm going to have a carpenter workshop here, and here's going to be my wood storage. And down here, I'm going to have my jewelers. One's going to cut, one's going to encrust the gems onto furniture, which I can either sell or I can put in a noble's room to make them happy and meet their demands. I may encrust finished goods as well. That is a bit of a walk, but I'm more worried about encrusting the furniture once nobles demand it. Now I can expand. There's plenty of room to expand. And this area, the food storage, like right around here, if I look up, is a nice place to come out. I will make use of that in the future, but that's not for a while. And also my trade post is going to be right here. Trade post needs a 5x5 area, and the reason all these paths are 3x3 is traders need a 3x3 area to walk. If it's any less, they won't be able to get through, and you need ramps, not stairs, because they carry wagons with them, and they can only go down ramps. I like to have my trading depot inside. Makes it a lot more secure. And yeah. Got that. I think I'm good to start. Oh, wait. Dwarf Therapist. That's right. So, I started up Dwarf Therapist right here. Now, this is extremely useful because it takes all those different skills and stuff and puts them in a nice chart, and you can assign people jobs. Like, because the miners had mining in the beginning, they're already marked, so they're going to start mining as soon as I unpause. My trader, who has the appraiser skill, is right down here. I like to mark my nobles with small animal dissection just because I don't really use it for anything, and I like to mark my guys so that I know who's doing what and who I've assigned to jobs. Now, I believe it was Inod that was my craft dwarf. I'm gonna quick check that. While I'm checking, I'm going to go to my broker and make it him. The broker is the trader. Let's see, Lolor, he's got the good creativity. Yeah, so Lolor is going to be my... Alright, broker. Him. And my consoler guy is already the expedition leader. So I'm going to leave him as that. Tierist. I'm going to actually go to Dwarf Therapist and mark Tierist off. Anyway, there are social skills. Here's all the different social skills. Here's the ones I trained. There's my leader. Military skills. Bunch of different weapon types. Different like hand-to-hand things. Armor and shield. Siege weaponry. And anyone with skills in here is going to become an archer. I have nothing right now. I don't need anything until probably late in the second year of the game, which years do go by relatively fast, but it'll be a few hours in before I get to the second year. And by then, hopefully I'll get immigrants with these skills, and because I have iron and fluxstone right at the top, I'm going to make steel weaponry, which is the best non-spoiler weaponry metal available. Alright, so I got those two, and low lore is going to become, right over here, stone crafting. And anyone with a job, I like to put animal care on, the two miners, which reminds me the two miners are not going to haul anything. They're just going to go and mine and do nothing else, because I don't want them distracted. These two don't really have to worry about because I'm not going to get injuries anytime soon, I hope. These last two, one becomes a carpenter, one becomes a woodcutter. I don't really care which is which. I know that there are certain attributes that favor each of them, but it doesn't make a huge difference. One thing you have to remember is when you assign woodcutters, they do take an axe. So if you militaries a lot of axe dwarves, you have to take that into account. I know this is really overwhelming. It will be for a while, just because it's a very hard game to get used to. I'm going to assign animal care to those two. And I do this really so that when I get an influx of immigrants, I can look here and see which ones are my immigrants. They're all peasants right now, but as soon as they get levels, they'll change their job title. Now I'm going to go... I have a lot of stuff going on over here, I know. Dwarf Fortress. And I think I'm set to start. So I'm going to press space to resume.